That's actually a really good question, and people suggested that before, and I've played that in the past when I played this deck. And honestly, the format's a little bit different than it was previously when I played this deck and we played a split of sweepers. Basically, a lot of the decks that you like need to guaranteed gifts into a sweeper against, like just casting gifts and getting Unburial Rites Elesh Norn is enough of a sweeper that that's all you need to do. And against the Death Shadow decks with their Stubborn Denials and their negates occasionally, you really, God, that's just perfect top. We really want to be able to guarantee that our Wraths are going to be uncounterable as opposed to trying to be cute and be able to gifts for them. So they're pretty likely to be able to kill this Jace, but I got these Goryo's Vengeances, so, you know, kill away. I'm sure they're going to, like, play a white source and path me here, and I'm going to be a little bit sad, but it is what it is. Yep, it's a little grim opponent. Alright, so we want to fill up our graveyard up as quick as possible so this Jace can start generating value. I think we're going to start... Do I want to start by... If I loot with the Jace, I can guaranteed play this Lingering Souls this turn, which I kind of like. I got a backup Jace. I'm going to bin the Souls so that way we can just flash it back and have something to threaten to block this Grim Flare. Play this tapped land, just curve out real smoothly here. So Jace doesn't flip until we have 5 cards in our discard pile after we loot with him. Hey Max, Ian, sick bro, everyone filing in. Block. Man, are they thinking about trading this for these souls? DCD Brad with the brand new Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Are you disappointed? I'm about to about the red overexert deck's answer. No, it's not possible. Yep, I have a standard deck register or that I'm going to be registering. No, I'm not telling the internet what it is. I probably don't want this other Inquisition. If we need another Inquisition down the line, I can probably just flash back this one. I feel like I'm just, like, looking for gifts here, basically, right? So, I think I'm going to actually bottom both of these. I'm going to go ahead and Inquisition and see what they've got going on over here. Liliana and a couple of Thoughtseizes. Alright, well, I think I'm going to take the Liliana just because it can, like, accrue value. The downside of taking the Liliana is that then they get to flashback souls and go double Thoughtseize next turn, but that's probably fine. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to play this tapped, and then I'm going to go ahead and pass here. We'll almost certainly be pathing this Grimflare before it hits us. They can take away both of our Goryo's Vengeances, and then we have our Jace versus 2 Spirit tokens, which we're probably winning once we flash back a Serum Visions. Nihil Spellbomb. Well, that's rude. Do I want to flip this Jace in response to the Nihil Spellbomb? I feel like I do. So I could path the Grimflare and then activate my Jace. Although I guess if my graveyard is gone, my Jace isn't particularly useful anymore. Yeah, I'm just going to let that happen. That's fine. I guess if I get more loots out of the Jace, that's really not a bad thing. I assume they're going to lead on Thoughtseize here before they do anything else. It's an obnoxiously good draw, especially with 2 Goryo's Vengeance in our hand. I guess we could just loot the Goryo's away, so it's not the end of the world. Their hand right now is still Thoughtseize, Ghost Quarter, Overgrown Tomb. So, response to Thoughtseize, I'll path this guy. They're going to Nihil Spellbomb me in response to that. Well, that feels good. Yeah, that's fine. They just don't want me to flip my Jace. Yeah, I'm okay with that. This worked out well for us. This means we're going to have a path in the bin for Jace to be able to flashback 2 down the line. Yeah, I think that was like one of the best possible situations for us there. Yep, deal. On a Goryo's or a Jace. I mean, like, my hand's not amazing, so I'd kind of like a couple extra loots with this Jace, and now, like, our path's still in the graveyard, too, so, like, we're probably getting extra loots regardless, and now we get to keep our path as well. Are they going to shock in Overgrown Tomb and take this other Goryo's Vengeance out of my hand? Sure, yep, that's fine. So they're down to 12 here, which actually means they're getting kind of close to just dying, right? I'm going to loot with this. Yep, they're leaving these back because they are getting kind of close to dying. I'm going to been a land at this point. Yeah, I'm going to been a land at this point. Snapcaster Mage, you say. I think I'm going to lead on looting with this again and kind of get a feel for what we have going on. I'll bin the extra Jace. Yeah, I'm going to plus on one of these. And then I'm going to activate this. We know one of their last card is Ghost Quarter. Do I know their other card? Oh, I don't know their other card. They drew it from Nihil Spellbomb. So, yeah, I'm just going to fire this up and then ship with the Goon Squad here. They can trade with one of my spirits and take 4. And they have the Ghost Quarter to clean up this creeping tar pit, but like their life total is getting a little bit low, which means if we rip an Obzedat off the top, it's going to be able to punch the clock and kind of go to work here. And if my opponent trades with the spirit, that means they can't pressure my Jace next turn, which is nice. I guess I don't have a good way to get an Obzedat into the discard pile at this point since I flipped my Jace already, but... I think I can fundamentally disagree with the decision Watsy is making, while also giving myself the best possible advantage that everyone else has while playing within the confines of that decision. So, no, I disagree with you. I think I can say I think hiding data is wrong, but still understand that if everyone else gets to hide their data, that I should hide my data too, to give myself that same competitive advantage that everyone else has from data being hidden. And I don't think it's unreasonable to have a stance like that. Am I willing to trade this last spirit at this point? I don't think I am. I think I'm just passing. Maybe I'm supposed to trade this and let them pressure this back, because, like, I kind of don't care if this dies, I guess, since I can, like, snap Goryos here. Liliana. Well, on the list of draws that were fantastic for my opponent, that was definitely towards the top. So, Jace is going to 5 here. Yep. That's a pretty good draw. Yep, I'm gonna plus on here and pass back. So, if they don't... Yeah, so they didn't get back the they didn't get back their Fulminator Mage here. So I think what we're actually gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and Snapcaster and then path my Snapcaster Mage so I can get a 5th land to play this Obzedat. Because my opponent is not beating this Obzedat. Yes, I would like an extra black source. Draw a card. And the Gifts Ungiven, sure. I think actually casting the Obzedat's more important at this point. Obzedat would like to go away, please. Yep. Bye-bye, Obzedat. Sure, you have a big wife. Opponent's dead in 3 to these Obzedat triggers. We're at nice healthy 22 here. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Scavenging is actually really good here, because it means that my Gifts Ungiven is worse. Yeah, it's a good hit. And it lets them gain a little bit of life back here. They've got... because there's 2 creatures between the discard piles. Wow, activating that now is loose. That's, like, exceedingly loose. Jace goes to 3. Obzedat comes back. The cat came back the very next day. Oh, the cat came back. Thought he was gone, but the cat came back. They knew we wouldn't stay away, away, away. Hey, hey, hey. GQ line. Alright, so what are we doing here? Well, now... I'd be kind of surprised if they have another basic forest in their deck. I think we're going to go get a bunch of removal spells here, right? We have an Elesh, but they can just, like, eat it in response with the Scavenging Ooze here. I think we're just going to go for value gifts here. I'm pretty sure... Sometimes they run 2 swamps, but they usually don't run 2 forests. So, this is actually a point where the fact that I don't have a Go for the Throat in my deck to go get could be a little bit awkward, but I have this Jace, so, like, we're going to go get Path to Exile, Fatal Push, probably a Liliana, maybe? No, that's not very good. Oh, we Goryo's Vengeance for Elesh. Oh, that's funny. Oh, we can do that, can't we? Huh. Is that lethal? That's basically lethal, right? Is that what we're supposed to do here? It kills all their spirits. That's a good line. Oh, they have a spirit. The spirit just blocks the, Iona doesn't kill them. They have a spirit. Iona's not protection from white. Yeah, it basically kills them, right? They're gonna have to block, jump with the Scavenging Ooze, and then the Obzedat's just blinking in and out. Is Elesh better than just getting a couple of removal spells here? I guess I could get Elesh and Lingering Souls. Yeah, that seems fine. I have Lingering Souls for next turn. It's a good line. They have a second forest, we're kind of fucked, but other than that, it's pretty good. Alrighty. Deck you. So Scavenging Ooze is going to go away, and then I guess we have like this Jace and this Lingering Souls left over, versus, and this Obzedat still blinking in and out. Wait, what? Oh, I guess the Scavenging Ooze is going to gain them some life, technically. Sure. The Scavenging Ooze can gain them 1, 2, 3, and go to 4, but they're going to be dead in 2 to the Obzedat. They need to draw a Path to Exile here. Are they traversing for a way to kill my thing? Battle Cattle! That's pretty good. I think we're still in an okay spot, right? They can't attack with the Scavenging Ooze because the Obzedat would make them sack their Rhino. They gotta eat the Lingering Souls here, right? Trigger. Alright, I'm just going to flash this back before they change their mind and decide to try and take it away. Cast this... Pass the turn? I guess they didn't want to get punished by a Snapcaster Mage. They don't know how many Snapcaster Mages we're playing, so... Yep, Spirit down. I guess they had the Liliana to take care of the Lingering Souls. It's a good hit. Alright, the question is, can they race this Ghost Dad? There's 2 creatures left in graveyards, and they need to leave a blocker back, so they're not taking a hit from the Obzedat. The lands deck is fine. Like I mentioned while we were playing it more than once, like the lands deck is literally Tron and Legacy. Like all of your matchups are like super skewed in one direction or another. Like oh, Esper burn, baby. Esper burn. Who's the burn deck, baby? The Esper deck's the burn deck, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty. Is this good? If so, why? Please explain. Boop. They can gain 1 on this Tarmogoyf that's left in the graveyard here, but they're going to need to draw something to not die to the Obzedat next turn. They're going to, like, need another Battle Cattle. Ghost Dad's just going to, like, blink on out here. Do you have the cattle to battle? Do you have the cattle to battle, opponent? Nope. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like... Wait, did they just get a Seed Runner to their hand? No, I don't think so. I think this was from the Traverse earlier. Yeah, they binned those 2. Okay, good. Alright, so Obzetai's Command, Supreme Verdict, Detention Sphere, Celestial Purge, those are all great. I don't love the hand disruption in this matchup, and I don't love the Unburial Rites package. The Elesh Norn was, like, cute there, and maybe I could almost see leaving in the one Elesh Norn just a hard cast in this matchup. But, I don't know. I guess I don't hate Nihil Spellbomb in this matchup. They've got, like, Grimflayers, and they have Lingering Souls of their own. That's probably fine. I don't know that I ever want to draw 2 of them, but the first one is probably acceptable. Yeah, I don't know, like, the second copy of... The one copy of this could be fine, just, like, to randomly Goryo in like we had there. Honestly, I think I'm going to trim a Goryo in this matchup, just like I'm trimming the Unburial Rites. Opponents got Spellbombs in their main deck, and they're probably going to bring in more Graveyard Hate post-board, so I just don't want to get caught with that many cards that depend on the graveyard in my hand at the same time. Brutality's, like, not exciting, but it's fine, and, like, when we're bringing in the Spellbomb, Brutality can catch their Grimflayer. Brutality also kills Scavenging Ooze for a very brief window. If you get lumped up on Brutalities, we can discard them to our own Liliana of the Veils in addition to our own Lilianas. We also have Jace Vryn's Prodigy to loot our stuff away. One Stony Silence. I could be talked into one Stony Silence being reasonable here because they have Spellbombs and Mishra's Baubles. If my opponent shows us a 3rd artifact with an activated ability, I'm going to bring in the Stony Silence, but for now I'm just going to leave this how it is. It sounds like Declan's waiting for Zap on Wormsters and grab him real quick, and then we'll finish this matchup. little bit down on clock from the old tanking on gifts piles and talking and changing diapers and stuff now. So I'm going to try and play a little bit quicker. Man, didn't even discard my best card. I'm just going to play this tap. There's a good chance that if they play a 2-drop here, I'm going to want to kill it with Collective Brutality. It's just going to be a Scooge or a Grimflayer. Yeah, perfect. So don't even want to push that anyways. It's a touch awkward. There's a good chance they have removal in their hand at this point. So I'm going to cast this with 2 modes and use the discard mode here. The discard's not good in the mid to late game, but checking for removal before we play a Ghost Dead is usually pretty fantastic. And we hit half a Lingering Souls. It could be worse. They have Fulminator Mage in their hand. It's a little annoying. The Ghost Quarter. It's also a little awkward that we've drawn 2 of our 4 basics. And they drew a Grimflayer off the top. Okay. There's a Spellbomb. My verdict is Supreme. Huh. I think I'm just playing this in passing, right? Maybe I'm supposed to just give this the D? Fulminator Mage seems really scary after I discarded a land. Or unless you're talking about the context of Modern in general. Yeah, I'm just going to pass the turn here, I think. I'm going to take a hit from this and let them set up a little bit. I think that's fine. We could get punished if they Fulminator Mage me. Hopefully they're just going to play the Scavenging Ooze and flashback the Lingering Souls, and then we get to, like, wrath them and make them feel bad about ourselves. If our opponent goes to Fulminator Mage us, we're going to have to push this post-combat, which doesn't feel good, but hopefully they're just going to play some 2-drops, and we're going to get to show them how supreme our verdict is. Opponent puts some things in their discard pile that they don't want to draw. They've got Fulminator, Scoos, and then 1 card we don't know. Flashback Souls, sounds great. Shriek Bob with the brand new $4.99 subscription. Thank you very much. I do appreciate the support. Welcome. More than happy to verdict just those things right there. Goodbye. Good night, my sweet prince. So they've got 1 draw here on the board, and then 2 more. Ask your opinion, Modern. I'm playing mono U turns, and I'm not feeling it. I don't want to play Shadow. I'm not sure what else to play. I'm finally thinking Dredge. What do you think, finally? What in the world is good in Legacy? There's not a lot that's, like, amazing in Legacy to be... Okay, so that's... Legacy's kind of a loaded question, because there's just, like, so much going on in the format. Dredge is an excellent choice for Modern, by the way. If you're looking for a deck that can be good in Modern, I definitely think Dredge is a deck that can fill that criteria. Now that I missed a land drop, they might Fulminator Mage me here, which is going to suck, because then I can't cast this Obzedat. So, kind of punished for being aggressive with this Brutality, especially since, like, we could just, like, have cleaned up the souls in other ways. Yep, that's good for us. Hopefully we draw an untapped land here and get to play this Ghost Dead. Yeah, flashback souls as well here. Yep. Let's fatally push this Dorko. Untapped land. Untapped land! Ding! So they have Fulminator Mage X in their hand. I'm going to go ahead and get Hallowed Fountain here. Yep. Let's go white, black, white, doop, doop. Play my Ghost Daddy. What's the best way to get into Legacy? Good first deck for someone to learn the format. I would definitely recommend playing one of the I call them the 1-2 combo deck, something like Reanimator or Show and Tell or Sneak Attack, the Mono Red Sneak Attack deck. Like, all of those are pretty good choices for Legacy in general. They allow you to do something powerful and proactive while also having a reasonable chance to... They're eating their own Grimflayer. They're just getting out of Collective Brutality range, sure. Alright, if they don't have Path as their 1 unknown in their hand here, they're in a really bad spot. They have Path as their 1 unknown. That's unfortunate. Alright. So now instead of them being just dead, we get to continue playing a game. It doesn't really matter which one I'm getting here, right? Pretty insulated. We're kind of at even keel in this game. Like, I've got a push for this Scavenging Ooze, and then they have a Fulminator Mage, and this Nihil Spellbomb's still a card to be drawn, but, like, Jace is valuable, and it's a resource for sure. And, like, if they get rid of our graveyard here, we're just gonna get to, like, loot more with the Jace and cycle through extras like these lands, so that's fine for us. I mean, like, if you're worried about if you're worried about card reusability and like actual like dollars that you're spending, like you just shouldn't play Legacy. Like you should only play Legacy if Magic is like a luxury hobby for you and you can afford to spend, you know, a few $1,000s on it. Like if you can't do that, I would recommend like playing any other game. And like that's like some people are like, well, that's not a good way to approach it, blah blah blah. Well, if you're looking to be competitive, that is the best way to approach Legacy, honestly. Yeah, if you, like, have money to burn, like, Legacy is enjoyable. It's one of my favorite it's probably my favorite format in Magic right now overall. But, like, you know, pretending that is not expensive is silly. Yeah, we can bin that. So this can just be a good, clean value gifts here. So what have we gone through so far? I'm gonna lead on this Nihil Spellbomb. Yeah, what I'm saying is unfortunate. I agree. It's unfortunate. I wish Legacy had more support, but I've definitely corrected what I'm saying. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pass here and not let them know that I'm going to get this value gifts off here. I'm probably going to pull the trigger. I didn't leave a Lingering Souls or anything like that in their discard pile, right? Nope. So their last card is Fulminator Mage right now, and then they have an Unknown. Yep, there's a Fulminator Mage that we know about. We're going to take a hit for 6 here. Kinda wish I had the Rites package in my deck. Maybe I'm supposed to leave that in. That being said, like, the value gifts package here is probably about to just destroy them. So, let's go ahead and do this. I can pay a black when I do... Oh, I'm dumb. I could have saved my... What is wrong? I was talking to chat, and I missed the fact that if I blew the Spellbomb early, I could have saved myself 2 points of damage by pulling the trigger on this sooner. So... Yeah, I like that. Goryo's, Obzedat, Snapcaster Mage, Supreme Verdict. Goryo, Obzedat, Snapcaster Mage, Supreme Verdict, so done. Let my opponent figure out what they're... You want pretzels? That's what you wanted? Okay. Yeah, exactly. Assume you're not coming up with anything. Like, if you're looking to get value out of your things, don't play Legacy. Boys, it looks like Grandma's here. My mother-in-law is coming to visit. Or my brother-in-law is coming and my mother-in-law is bringing him down. My opponent's trying to figure out how they are least screwed here. The answer is my opponent is screwed every which way unless they have a, what's it called? A surgical extraction in their hand. Maybe they have this Fulminator Mage here, so I wouldn't be surprised if they pull this trigger on the Fulminator Mage during my end step here, so I think just, like, getting the most powerful cards here is fine. Plus, I can, like, flash back this gifts that I'm casting right now with this Jace or this Snapcaster Mage, so, like... I probably am getting to recast this gifts that I already have. So they bin the Verdict. I guess they could have removal for this. If they have removal for this, they could, like... Removal for the Jace means they're not completely screwed as well. Bob and Cheese! Resub for 6 months. $30, a.k.a. less than Goryo's Vengeance. The card did get expensive, didn't it? Alright, so they gave us Goryo, and they gave us... So now they have to have exactly Path, since they gave us Goryo's Vengeance. You have a Path to Exile here? No, this is the end of turn I'm tanking on if I want to use this. Alright, so we're going to start by looting with this. I'm going to discard the Seachrome Coast. I'm going to spin down on the Supreme Verdict. Whoa, they have the surgical extraction. Huh. I did not put them on surgical after that tank. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so they had the surgical, so they're not just dead. We have a game, as they say. Uh-oh. I think Surgical's fine to bring it in this matchup. I board in such a way that Surgical's not terribly important against us, but, like, Surgical's fine to board in against us if you have it for sure. I don't think my opponent has made a mistake by boarding it in. I'm going to go ahead and cast this Obzedat. And then... No, we're going to keep streaming. She knew I was going to be working when she got here. And they're here to see the kids, too. I'm not important. The kids are what's important. I'm just going to play this Godless Shrine tapped and pass the turn, I think. If we're really lucky, they'll kill this Jace. We're going to leave Obzedat in play. Obzedat is hanging out on D. Otherwise, we're almost dead on board. This is 8. Oh, it's a good draw, and it turns this into a 5/6. Well, now we don't want them to kill the Jace anymore. Well, opponent ran off the perfects. It's unfortunate. We're not out of the game just yet, but we're not in a good spot. I'm going to get a draw step at least here. Celestial Purge. That doesn't do anything for us, right? We're going to have to chump block this and be dead to these. It's pretty unfortunate. I get to play game 3 on the play here. Yeah, I think I like how we boarded. The fact that they have Surgical Extraction definitely means I don't want the Rites package. I think leaving an Elesh Norn's reasonable. Like that game, we got to plenty of mana, and that's likely going to happen again. And I'm just going to go ahead and submit. I think we probably would have been able to win that game through the Surgical if my opponent wouldn't have ripped the Thoughtseize to take my Goryo's Vengeance away at the end there. It's possible I also could have had better gifts piles. Like the fact that they had Surgical, I could have like piled my gifts better so that way I could have guaranteed killed the Tarmogoyf. No, we were actually dead there. We were at 4 and we had 1 blocker. I guess we could technically Celestial Purge the Fulminator Mage, I guess, and lose a land, but the game's effectively over. That sounds fine. It's like not exciting, but fine. It's got lands and spells against the deck full of Thoughtseizes. Terror of the Twinkie! With the 2-month resubscription. Welcome back and thank you for the continued support. I do appreciate it. Do we have enough mana at that point? If they Fulminator Mage us off a land, did we have 8 lands? We might have had 8 lands. I'm not actually sure. Took the Collective Brutality. Okay. Interesting. That's a good draw. I want to fetch Shock here. I probably want to fetch Shock. They're attacking our mana, so I want to make sure I have copious amounts of all of our colors. Ghost Dad, more Gifts Ungiven. Yeah, I think I want both of these, right? I think I'm just going to go top here. So I can get my value gifts on. Sure, this is probably going to take my Path to Exile away. Yep. I'm going to play for 1 mana. I'm like a random Noble Hierarch in their deck. Nihil Spellbomb, sure. Now I'm going to go ahead and play this Marsh Flats. I might fetch away the second Gifts on top of our deck depending on what we draw. Or depending on what their turn sequence is. Yep. It's probably awful against Tron. It's probably okay against green-black midrange. I question how your format gets to all green-black midrange and Tron, though. You should probably play Tron. Do I want this other gifts at this point? I feel like with the Nihil Spellbomb, I probably want a better chance to draw lands at this point. Grab another Godless Shrine since I have this island in my hand. Hawkward, quality tapped lands. Yep. Yeah, I agree, bub. He's got souls, man. Think we're gonna get push, path, verdict, Snapcaster Mage, maybe. I hate getting Snapcasters the last one. I guess I get another Gifts. Yeah, I like that, actually. Let's do that. So we get a guaranteed way to kill the Tarmogoyf this turn. Probably 2 ways. They might just give us, like, push path, honestly. I don't really want to take the snap because of the Nihil Spellbomb on the table. Yeah. If the Spellbomb wasn't there, like, our piles would be entirely different. I think this forces them to give us push path, yeah, which is, like, kind of an outcome we're okay with. Play this tap to pass the turn. Probably push the Tarmogoyf off a cliff here. And then next turn we get to play Ghost Dad. And if they path the Ghost Dad, then we get to play Elesh Norn. Push it now so they don't get to trigger Assault. And that's why, like, Gifts Ungiven is such a powerful card. Like, our opponent has a Nihil Spellbomb on the table, and we're not able to do anything, like, completely busted with it, but it was just, like, 4 mana, draw 2 removal spells. Like, the power level of 4 mana, draw 2 removal spells is, like, perfectly reasonable. Flashback Souls? Yeah, you got Souls, man. Even, I was just about to say, even just another untapped land here is fine, because it guarantees that we get to play Elesh Norn next turn. So let's play this. I'm going to grab a Swamp here. Now, because they missequenced their path here, I actually get to go ahead and play this Marsh Flats out here. Which is good for us because it means that I can path this Treetop Village when it attacks us next turn, and then still have 7 untapped lands for Elesh Norn. So, I'm going to play this out. It gets the Treetop off the table next turn. They know we have this path. The thing we get punished for with Takedown Thought... God bless America! If they could just, like, not rip Thoughtseize the turn before we're going to kill them one time, it would just be great. It would make my life so much more wonderful. That's magic sometimes, you know? I'm gonna path this Treetop Village and take 4, 5 with this fetch land, so... Now we're basically running on fumes. We've got exactly 1 Supreme Verdict in the deck. Almost 2 games in a row that opponent was... pretty dead, and then hit the runners, another land. Hey, got some souls of my own. Sure, we're back at parity here. I'm going to hold on to this land in my hand because if we draw a Collective Brutality or a Jace Vryn's Prodigy, it's going to do something more useful than be a land. Block. Maybe they'll draw some lands. Our decks actually have a similar amount of lands in them. And we have Serum Visions to thin, theoretically. Or get some selection. They drew another threat. Of course they did. Alright. One good top deck deserves another. Kill your Dorko, I guess. Push our guy off a cliff. They had the path for the Obzedat, which was the first thing they had to have. Then they had to have the Thoughtseize for the Elesh Norn, which they ripped. Siege Rhino, yep. They haven't drawn a land past land number 5. I pathed them this game. I did path them this game. We're dead on board. Good. I like a challenge. Draw something useful here, maybe. Alright, yeah, it's a beat sometimes. I think that matchup's probably good for us on average. Opponent has a lot of tools. Differently, one of the downsides to playing this deck right now is you're catching some splash damage from people that don't want to lose to Dredge. But I think on average we sidestep a lot of the graveyard hate. Like, the Nihil Spellbomb was mostly irrelevant that game. It, like, affected our gifts pile decisions, but, like, we still got value off of it. The Thoughtseize for the Elesh Stormers ended up really cleaning us up. Yeah, sometimes they just, like, peel them off. I think that game they only hit, like... Yeah, they hit 3 runners in a row there, right? Because, like, they hit Threat, they hit Thoughtseize into Threat to pressure us afterwards, but... If they would have had, like, 1 to 2 more lands and, like, matched the land count that we had, we probably would have been fine. Yeah, like, them's the beats. And, like, we have 23 lands, but, like, we also didn't draw our Creeping Tar Pits either. So, like, if we were playing 21 lands and not playing the Creeping Tar Pits, we still would have drawn just as many lands there. They were Jund, would I have boarded out Elesh Dorn? Probably. Yeah, I think so. I think without Lingering Souls, the Elesh Dorn's probably much worse. But I don't think hardcasting Elesh Dorn is unreasonable, especially when we're playing against the Path to Exile version. I don't understand your question, Yuzen. You're comparing this to a deck. The four-color Gifts deck doesn't exist in Modern, like, as far as, like, competitive or known decks, so I'm not sure what you're comparing it to. The Invitational is this weekend. I fly out tomorrow evening. We board out the Unburial Rites Iona Elesh package against the fair mid-range decks. The gifts package for Unburial Rites, Elesh, Norn, and Iona is there to punish the unfair like spell-based combo and this against decks like Elves and Affinity and Collective Company and stuff like that. Like when we're playing fair, we just kind of want to go toe-to-toe to them and like slam our threats into each other. We don't want like a bunch of clunky 5, 7, and 9 mana spells clunking up our draws. Even if we do have some things like Collective Brutality to smooth them out. Well, I mean, the standard deck hasn't changed, so yeah. We didn't crack the format in half or anything. We've just got an interesting mid-range deck that's like plenty reasonable. Opponent mulligan to 5 and is playing Lantern or Affinity. The deck's actually pretty good against Lantern because they just don't fucking beat this card. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That doesn't make colored mana. Alright, likely Lantern could still be Affinity. Okay, is Affinity. So I'm just going to go ahead and hold this Path to Exile. We're going to Collective Brutality this turn, I think. I'm going to go ahead and get Watery Grave with this. No, my standard deck is definitely much worse than this modern deck. This modern deck's very reasonable. It's a Jace VP. So that draw punishes us for not having Path this, but I think it's still correct to have waited on the path there. Do I want to discard anything here? I don't think I do. I don't think there's merit to like checking for like Galv Blast here, but there could be merit to just like gaining 2. Yeah, I think this deck is fine. I think Grizzlebrand is awful and uncastable, and if I thought it was worth playing, I'd be playing it. I don't know how to be more brutally honest than that. It's just... Here today on the Brutally Honest show, if I thought awful cards were worth playing, I'd be playing them. Like, the reason why this deck is good is because there's a minimal amount of clunk in it. One of the reasons why it's great is because it's fantastically flexible. We are going to get run out of the gates by this, aren't we? We're going to take 6 here. Maybe we get to put... Maybe we get to put the, what's it called out beforehand? Alright, so... Can't really plus this on anything productive. I might just crack this fetch and then loot here and see what we get. Does that do anything productive? Yeah, I guess I could hit Goryo's Vengeance. No, I'd still rather cast Gifts this turn, right? I think I want to just flip the Jace so he's incentivized to hit the Jace and preserve my life total. And, like, this is why, like, this position we're in, where, like, it's going to be close, and, like, if they have a Galvanic Blast, we're going to die, is a reason why it was probably right to have kicked this on turn 2 to gain some life. I'm going to loot with this and see what we find. I mean, we're going to Gifts for Elesh and reanimate it, but, like, I'm just talking about, like, we're trying to minimize the... When you're ever in a position where you feel like, okay, you always want to minimize the amount of ways your opponents can kill you, but, like, if they have Galvanic Blast, we're probably just going to die here. So this line I'm taking is encouraging them to attack this Jace Telepath Unbound, which would mean we're not going to die to a Galvanic Blast later down the line. So that would be ideal. Springleaf Drum. It's the last card in their hand, sure. So we're taking... they can activate one more, so we're going to take 8, down to 3. And then we could put Elesh Norn into play next turn. Then we need to fade Galvanic Blast for a turn. So hopefully they kill the Jace here. We flipped the Jace as bait for them to kill it. Nope, they're attacking us. Smart. Smart! Opponent knows what's up. They don't have any cards in hand, so let's just do this now. Go get Unburial Rites and Elesh Norn, the Grand Cenobite, which puts them both into our discard pile. Alright, and then the good news is, if they don't hit it next turn, we get to flashback Collective Brutality. If they don't hit it next turn, we get to flashback. We just get to play Obzedat, actually. So, like, if they rip the Galvanic Blast here and kill us, like, we lost because I didn't, what's it called? Because I didn't escalate this on turn 2. So, let's just go ahead and do this. So, let's tap our mana in a way that lets us cast this spell. Obzedat, 10 out of 10, hardest spell to cast on Magic Online. Let's plus this. Goodbye, Ghost Dad. We'll see you again in a minute. It's Thoughtcast. Master of Ethereum, maybe? Sure. It's adorable. Ghost Dad is off to work. Check it out. All the Obzedat puns you get to make in this deck are so great. They're just like, they're top notch, really. All right, we've got tools for this matchup. So we've got a Disenchant and a bunch of Stony Silences here, and a couple Detention Spheres and a couple Supreme Verdicts. Iona can get right on out of here. Liliana the Veil can get right on out of here. All of this 1-mana discard can get right on out of here. We've got one more trim to make. Probably just trim a Ghost Dad. Yeah, usually they board in Blood Moon against us if they have it. They don't always have Blood Moon, but if they have it, they're bringing it in. So, like, maybe there's merit to Celestial Purge. Seems narrow, though. I guess this kills Vault Scourge. Huh. Is that worth it? That might be worth it. Just, like, tags Moon and Vault Scourge. I have to cut another card. Yeah, Command Jace, old standard things. I don't know what I want to cut, though. I kind of like all of the cards that I have in my deck right now. I guess you're trimming a Goryo's Vengeance, maybe, because they're possibly bringing in Graveyard Hate. I don't hate that. I'm going to do this. I hate losing to Blood Moon. I don't think this is gear per Aether Grid matchup. I agree that that's probably in their 75, but I don't think they're bringing that in here. Yeah, that sounds great. It's got all the tools we want, and it's got options to fetch around a Blood Moon. That deck list is pretty close, I believe. The sideboard might be a couple cards different. I'll update it later. At some point, Magic Online will have an API and it'll do things like that automatically. One kept reluctantly. Yeah, the mana base is identical. The mana base hasn't changed since I added the... What's it called? I made one little change to tweak the mana base a little bit, but that should be up there. That was a while ago. I'm gonna go ahead and play this on 1 here, so that way if they Blood Moon us on 2, we can fetch around it. I mean, first they would have to teach the Magic Online developers what the letters API stand for, which is like kind of a feat in itself, right? Like we've taught them what those letters stand for. All right. Well, I see why they were reluctant to keep their hand. It seems particularly terrible. This means they get a hit in with this cranial plating, but their hand's not doing a whole lot, so, like, you know, you do you. Sure, Relic of Progenitus. Jace, Vryn's Prodigy, you just got upgraded to Merfolk Looter. A dead Merfolk Looter. Oh, yeah. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Yeah, I'm actually going to fetch a Swamp here just so we can, like, play through a Blood Moon if it happens. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this cranial plating. It's, like, the only thing that's really scary on the table. Then we can go this tapped into Watery Grave untapped next turn and then just, like, cast my Obzedat. Nice Relic of Progenitus. Sure. You have another payoff here? They have, like, Steel Overseer. I'm going to get a little bit punished for mana-based sequencing, but I think hedging against Blood Moon is worth, like, this coming into play tap next turn. Cycled the Relic. Deal. Coming in for 1. Alright. Collective Brutality, you say. I'm going to hold that for Steel Overseer, I think. Just play this and pass. Thoughts on Live Again? Probably fine. Live Again's like one of the many like tier 2 decks in Modern that like occasionally puts up results. Play a Steel Overseer or an Arcbound Ravager, please. Cranial Plating. That's annoying. I think I'm going to Wrath these two idiots. Not only does it take them off of mana, but I can't Wrath once I have Obzedat doing reasonably, so I think this is fine. I'm getting a little bit punished if they run off Etch Champion here, but outside of that, we're in a pretty good spot. I think I'm just going to clock them here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and escalate Collective Brutality using the 2 modes that we can and drain them a little bit here, discarding the Obzedat, and then we can Goryo's Vengeance the Obzedat into play once we've checked to make sure the coast is clear for this Obzedat to take over. Blood Moon, Master of Ethereum, Steel Overseer. Well then. Alrighty, let's just get this guy back into play. Let's kill you before any of those cards matter, shall we? Attack with this. So you want to stack these so the Obzedat trigger resolves first, which means you want to put the Goryo's Vengeance trigger on the stack first, last in, first out. Oh no, not a Memnite. How can I ever win the game now? You Steel Overseer, that's fine. Just gonna cast this one for the Rubbins. Shh. They're actually dead here without this. We pass this, and then we crack them into 2, and then we exile this at end of turn, and then they'll die to the trigger next turn unless they 5-away to gain some life, which they likely don't. The top 3 decks that aren't Affinity or Death Shadow. Dredge is at the top of that list. That's not Affinity or Death Shadow. So it's probably Dredge, Eldrazi, Tron, Burn. Dredge, Eldrazi, Tron, Burn. Easy. I'm of the opinion that you could... So someone mentioned the Obzedat command. This is kind of like a sweet, grindy card, but it's also very good because it's a burn hate card. Never have too many cards for the burn matchup. It's words to live by, ladies and gentlemen. Never have too many cards for the burn matchup. Yep, hand's great. It's got a 1-mana interaction, 2-mana interaction, and a Jace. Burn is always a deck that sees play, especially at events like the Invitational that are split format, Bob. Split formats events, Burn is always popular, regardless of what they're split with. Chirp. I don't think I want to path this. I don't think I want to give them more mana at this point. I left the path up in case they had... I should have played a fetch land. It was a small missequence on my part. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab a basic island here. And then I'm going to go ahead and play this Collective Brutality, escalating it with the discard mode. And we're going to kill Devotager and hopefully take a Chord or a Collected Company out of their hand. I think I want to just spin Lingering Souls here. Look at that. Exactly like we drew it up. Your move. Twin's Elite. If they don't have a land here, we get to Inquisition the Vizier out of their hand, which is sweet for us. They don't. What you got? What you got? What you got, opponent? What'd you draw? Another Dwinnen's Elite and a Vizier. I think we actually care about the Dwinnen's Elite. I think I actually care about the Dwinnen's Elite more than the Vizier. Leap. We have plenty of spot removal, and like the way their combo works, we get a 1-turn window before we need to kill that, and like this Westfell Abbey could. I guess we have Path and we have Souls. Like maybe this isn't a real problem. This gets to block one of these dorks. We're just like looking for a Gifts Ungiven so we can just like put an Elesh into play and like slam the door on this game very hard. Someone asked me, what's the best deck I think that Owen is playing right now? I don't know. The decks that are good in... Everything sees play in Modern. Modern is a format where every deck ranging from Tier 1 to Tier 12 sees some amount of play because not only is it expensive in terms of dollars to change decks in Modern, it's expensive in terms of your knowledge base to change decks in Modern. Like, changing decks in Modern costs you a huge investment. You have to, like, relearn the format from a new standpoint. And, like, that's not irrelevant. Alrighty. Let's start by looting with this, see what we find. Liliana of the Veil. Not stellar at this current point in time. I'm going to bin this Flooded Strand. This Jace. I think this Jace is just going to plus on one of these dorks. Yeah, we'll plus on that one. We'll play this tapped. Flashback this Lingering Souls past the turn. I mean, the reason why people enjoy playing a format like Modern is that, you know, the 10th best deck and the first best deck aren't that different in power level in general. Right now, Death Shadow and Affinity are probably a little bit higher than normal, but, like, in general, like the deck that I'm playing is nowhere near the best deck in the format, but, like, it's competitive enough to keep up with what other people are doing. So now they have to, like, attack dorks into my spirits if they want to pressure my Jace. It's good for us all around, really. They kept a card in their hand. Do I just plus this Liliana? Take the card out of their hand? If they have Court of Calling, I'm going to feel a little bit bad about that decision. I'll play this Liliana and plus it and see what happens. Sure. Probably an Elvish Arc Druid. Azuri, sure. So we're going to ban this. I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'm going to spin down on this Collective Brutality. Fetch up a Plains here. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to fetch up a Swamp, actually, in case we need the basic Plains later to cast this Path to Exile easier. Give him -2/-2. This gives them an opening to pressure my Planeswalkers a little bit, but they're going to have to attack into my Spirits to do so, so I think I'm fine with that. I mean, mid-range decks like this has a better chance than Abzan and Jund against Tron, because you can, like, put an Obzedat into play on turn 3 and just, like, race them, and, like, Karn and Ugin don't deal with Obzedat, and you have Path to exile Wormcoil, so, yeah, I'm going to say you probably have some play against Tron, especially with counterspells and some discard post-board. Not completely unreasonable by any stretch of the imagination. No attacks here. We're basically, like I said, just playing defense until we can find our way to an Elesh Norn here. If they hit a land here, they could actually... Now, they do 2 lands to Westphal Abyss, right? That's probably the best draw on their deck. Getting kind of punished for my sequencing with the Liliana of the Veil here. Very possible I should have just, like, down-ticked it. Yep. Yeah, it's fine. Jace is going to go to 2. Or to 1. Because I don't like decks like Abzan and Jund. I don't enjoy playing them. And Magic's a game that I largely play to have fun, because even when you're winning all of your tournaments, you're not winning nearly enough. You're not making nearly enough money to have Magic feel like a job. Liliana's a card we board out in this matchup, believe it or not. Probably just supposed to path this, right? Just going to pass here. If they hit Cord or Azuri, that's fine. I think there's a non-zero chance they just flip this Westphal Abbey and start attacking us, and then I get to path that. Because, like, I didn't kill their combo piece here, so that means, like, their Westphal Abbey might be in the clear to start making attacks. And, like, if I get to clear most of their board out, I think I'm fine with that. I think the risk is worth the potential reward here. They definitely have draws here that just kill us because I left the Devoted Druid in play, but... Oh. Alright, there's your land. God bless. Oh, it's a Collective Brutality. I think I should use this to gain some life here. This land's not doing me a whole lot of good. And the 2 life could be make or break. I'll kill their combo creature at this point. This might encourage them to Westphal Abyss in response. .43 cards and 43 cards left in our deck. 3 of them are Gifts Ungiven. I guess there's merit to just, like, playing lands out in case we draw the Elesh Norn. I mean, like, they'd have 1 guy left, so, like, the Liliana's not completely lethal. Like, they could sack this Devoted Druid and some other Dorkos here. I don't think it's completely unreasonable. Oh, they're just making a token. Sure. I'm just going to cash this in, take another guy off the table. Taking the Liliana off the table also might encourage them to flip the Westvale Abbey. They might also get frisky and attack into this Jace since it's threatening to flash something back again next turn. Yep, that's fine. You have all the mana. I think I'm just supposed to block here. Maybe I'm supposed to leave one back to block this Vizier since it has 2 points of power. It's a 2-1. It's a pretty good draw. Plus on there. And they don't have enough things at this point. They could make a token and then untap and flip the Westvale Abbey. I'm going to play Obzedat here and then leave him back on defense, I think. And then hopefully they make a token at end of turn and then flip the Abbey, and then I get to untap and path the Abbey. To get rewarded for Supreme Patience with this Path to Exile. With Obzedat on the ground, they really don't have great attacks. No, I'm not going to blink this. I think I want to just leave him back to protect the Jace here at this point. He can still make an attack next turn regardless. That's not how you need to tap that. You need to activate your Heritage Druid. Yep. That's 3, 4, 5. I have to make an Ormondal token. Magic's a really complicated game. That's one of the things that makes it interesting. A lot of us are bad. Some of us are like marginally less bad than the others. And remember, you don't have to be good at Magic to do well at a tournament. You just have to be slightly less bad than the people you get paired against in that tournament. Maybe even run a little bit hot if you're not less bad than them. The key to having success at Magic is like playing marginally okay and then like going to enough tournaments that eventually you get to be marginally okay at a reasonable number of them and eventually break through. It's really appealing to flip this Westvale Abbey here because they can kill my Jace. Which again, if they're trading their board for my Jace and 9 life, I'm okay with that. I have this path in my hand and this Obzedat just so you have to like punch the clock and head into work. Post-board, that Liliana Veil is going to be a Supreme Verdict, and this gets much easier. Yep. Yeah, and like people have asked me a lot like why I'm traveling less this year, and honestly, I'm well on track to like net more profit for Magic this year just streaming Magic and creating content and like not spending a bunch of money traveling. So like I get to spend my time that I would normally spend on the weekends doing like traveling to stuff, like just making more content, and like making content pays way better and more consistently than doing well in tournaments. Oh baby, we're flipping the Ormondal. God bless. Also, knock on wood. Seems like Comcast might have fixed their issues. Haven't dropped a frame yet in an hour and a half. Hello, Ormondal, my old friend. And they might honestly leave Jace alive and just like try and two-turn us here. Which would be like the absolute... Nope, they're killing Jace. They're being conservative and killing Jace. That's fair. God, this deck is fucking great. Alright, so... Doop. Goryo's Vengeance back. This guy. I'm gonna activate this guy. I'm gonna discard this Obzedat. I'm gonna down tick on this Collective Brutality. I'm going to go ahead and kill this Dorko. I'm going to go ahead and path this one during their upkeep, so that way they don't get the extra land if they draw a... Their land is coming to play tap, so if they draw a Collected Company, they can't cast it. That's fine. This time, Obzedat's punching the clock and heading into work. We keep the Jace that we Goryo's Vengeance back because it left play and it's a new Jace now. Well, that's a pretty good draw. Definitely one of their better ones there. They got back a Collected Company, sure. Kinda punished for using this aggressively, because I could have flashed back the Collective Brutality this turn to take their Collected Company away. They're definitely still in this game now. Alright, well, that'll be good with that at some point. So, next turn, we'll get to downtick the Jace, cast the Path to Exile, and then Goryo's Vengeance the Jace back and flash something else back. So we know opponent's one card in hand is Collected Company. Also worth noting that opponent is down 4 minutes on the clock right now, and this is game 1. So, you know, if they take this much time in every game, they're not going to win 3 games. I'll be able to win 2 out of 3 if we get a 3rd game. I love this deck, and I have this deck. Is this my modern deck box? Yep. For people that don't believe me, Spare Deck sent me the magic cards for this. There's my Jaces. Where's my Ghost Dads? Where are my Ghost Dads at? There's my Ghost Dads. They're in here somewhere. There's my Obzedats in my sleeves, and we are going to the Invitational this weekend, thanks to the people on the internet who fully funded the trip. God bless y'all. Attack. No blocks. Deal. Alright, Obzedat. Time to go to work. Yep. If this is your first time seeing this deck, we're only going to play for a couple hours today. I've got some family in town, but I wanted to catch on for a little bit and play some practice matches. You can catch more archives of this deck on my YouTube channel. I've streamed a bunch with the deck there, so... Is pretty out of date. It's like 4 sideboard cards different. So, like, I don't know what your definition of pretty out of date is, but it's probably different than mine. My sleeves of choice are KMC non-hyper mats. They don't make them anymore. I have half a case of them left, and when they run out, I don't know, I'll find something else, I guess. I'm going to pull up the deck list below the stream now so I can tell you just how pretty out of date it is. God, why do people on the internet just, like, mono spew? It's all... Can we just, like, cut the bullshit? It's like, be informed before we talk. How different are we? We're 1, 2... The main deck is 2 cards different, and they're cards that are just in the sideboard. Yeah, Spare Deck on average runs about, I think it's like 10% the cost of buying the cards, which, like, if you're changing decks often enough, or, like, you don't play paper as much anymore like I am, like, it's very reasonable. And you can save amount on your order with the Hoagland 7 code, 7%. It's 2 cards. There are 2 cards different. Ooh, Unburial Rites. I don't really care if this combat goes sideways, right? I'm going to target the path here. And attack with this Obzedat, I think. See what they do. Alright, in response to this trigger, we're going to go ahead and path the Azuri so that way they don't get a token. Fair. Now they get a free block off of this, but we're going to deny them a token at least. They're going to get a free block off of that regardless, right? I guess before blocks happen, I can Goryo's Vengeance back this Jace and hit another path, maybe. Lingering Souls. Yeah, that's probably fine. Yeah, I'll discard that, I guess. Plus there, go ahead. Obzedat's gonna punch the clock and head back on to work. Two cards in their hand. I mean, to be fair, like, it's not like he had to, before they started typing, they had to, like, click through a thing that says, we don't warn, we ban, and then, like, you'd be, like, persistently annoying. I said it was out of date, and it's still pretty close. What are we doing here? Verdicts are great. Discard's pretty marginal. Probably don't need the Iona in this matchup. Liliana's pretty bad. Detention Sphere is fine. It's not exciting, but it's fine. Am I leaving in some of the discard? I guess the discard's okay since I have Collective Brutality to bin it to later. It's probably acceptable. Maybe just this suite of spells that counters Collected Company of Court of Calling isn't completely unreasonable. What do you think? What do you think? Discard or counter spells? Yeah, like, I'm just here to have a good time. I appreciate y'all that support me, but, like, you know, this doesn't make a ton of money. I'm here because I'm just trying to have some fun. Play some Magic to get a little practice in. Their Collected Companies are definitely their best cards in the matchup. Just 3 of these seems like so many. But I guess, like, the same logic is, like, we could just loot them away or discard them when they're awkward. The Countersquall is actually pretty important because you want 3 differently named counterspells. So against, like, say, Ad Nauseam, you can cast Gifts Ungiven and get Disdainful Stroke, Negate, Countersquall, and Snapcaster Mage. So you can turn your gifts into double counterspell. So I actually think this card's pretty important for a few of the matchups. I mean, obviously you could play the deck without it, but, like, being able to gifts for a bunch of disruption is valuable. Something like this. I'll give it a try. I don't know. Actually know if I like that or not. And now my opponent has 12.5 minutes to try and win 2 games here. Because they've been playing slowly. Man, Hearthstone hands always look nice. Just like almost no resources can cast all of these. Sure. Looking for a 1 or 2 mana spell. Yep. Yeah, Elesh, Norn, and Iona just have I win buttons on them in particular matchups when you Gifts Ungiven them, when you Gifts Ungiven Unburial Rites them into play, and like, ooh, that's a fantastic draw. I fetch a basic island and cast the Serum Visions. Ideally, I want to avoid fetching after I scry. A Fatal Push and a Gifts. Well, that's a top if I ever saw him. So we'll get to push something off a cliff next turn. Sure, probably that. Go Slick, push this. There's 3 Collective Brutalities on the deck. I didn't lead on Darkslick Shores because I wanted to avoid using my fetch lands after I bottom something, and we just happened to top things. And then next turn, we can crack this for basic planes and detention tier or something to kind of keep the board in check, and then we'll be able to Gifts for Rites Elesh Norn the following turn. No, they'll often have Path to Exile on their board, so I'd much rather just get some kind of value off of that. So, like, when you put the Elesh Norn into play and they happen to have a Path in their hand, you still just, like, kill all of their creatures. So, like, if you, like, 6-for-1 them with an Elesh Norn and, like, then they take the Elesh Norn off the table, you're like, alright, I'll find some other way to kill you. Like, we 6-for-1 you. Rest in peace. Alright, well, we know what the Detention Sphere is getting rid of. And this is why I really like Detention Sphere in this deck. It's kind of an anti-hate card that's not dedicated anti-hate. So, like, this card is going to get rid of their card that interacts with one of our powerful axes, but if they didn't draw Rest in Peace, Detention Sphere would be able to exile, like, their Azuri or one of their creatures. Hey, the gang's all here. They could just kill us here. Like, if they hit some lords here, they could attack for a bunch and then attack for a bunch next turn when we cast the Gifts Ungiven. They're in the tank, so... Okay, this could easily be lethal next turn. Taking 2 here. Yep, 3. Right, because of that one. Alright, well, we don't have anything to do here, so we're just going to pass and hope we don't die to this. Land kills us. Untapped land kills us. Razor Verge Thicket does not kill us. Oh, dead. Yeah, dead. So, a little bit too slow on the draw. Yep, it's clean 18 points of damage there. And, like, so, this game was a great example of, like, why I think these counter spells are probably worse than the Inquisitions in this matchup. Like, if these would have been Inquisitions, we would have been able to sequence that negate instead of just, like, dying with it in our hand, and we would have been able to, like, break up our opponent's curve a little bit while we were playing the game. Probably survived to cast that Gifts Ungiven for Elesh Norn. Well, I mean, we're going to keep this 6, I suppose. If we find a land on top of our deck, we're probably not going to fetch on 1. We do not have a Dispel. If we don't find a land, yeah, we're going to top the crap out of that. And then I'm just going to play this Polluted Delta and pass. Because, like, if we cast Serum Visions, we're just, like, looking for land, so I might as well just, like, wait and cast the Serum Visions when I don't have what I'm looking for on top of my deck. Yep. We're going to fetch Watery Grave. And I think we're going to Brutality with the extra mode here. Probably been the Obzedat in case we draw Goryo's Vengeance to start pressuring them quickly. Check for removal or collected company. We could brick here, but I think this is worth the check. And we bricked. Feels bad, man. That's good. Inquisition's Deece. Hey, babe.
Do you know where the focus keys are?
Nope.
They're on their bicycle.
I don't think so. I haven't driven it recently. Doesn't look like it. So, we want a 4th land, right? And we don't mind Serum Visions into it and setting up our draw past that. So let's just go ahead and cast this Inquisition here. And then next turn we'll go Visions, draw the other thing. I don't know. They got a bunch of redraws in their hand. Get aggressive here with their Pendelhaven, sure. Did I just give him the D? Puts us behind on a land drop, but I think I'm just going to give him the D. The way we stacked the top of our deck, we got a little punished for this sequence because they drew exactly another Elvish Mystic, but I think our sequence was still correct. Javier 3 with the brand new Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Welcome. Alright, so they have Horizon Canopy X in their hand. X Karma Nova with the brand new Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Welcome. Start by casting this. We know their last card's a Horizon Canopy here. Alright, here's the gifts. And a path, actually. Let's go top here, right? We could just die next turn if I kill this, but like we're in a pretty bad spot if I don't kill this. I think we just hope they brick on a couple of draws here and the Gifts Ungiven gets to beat them. No, I don't think I like Snapcaster more than any of the cards I'm already playing. I draw another Collected Company. They'd cast it now before damage, right? If they hit a Lord. We did beat Affinity. We are currently in game 3 against Elves here. Listen to play, pass. Major Court of Calling. My body is ready for Visor Azuri. Sure. Is that the only card they're getting? That'd be so good for us if that's the only card they just got. That's great. Good 4-mana spell there. Alright, please continue bricking. Take 3. Didn't attack because of the tar pit. Gotcha. Honestly, I kind of just go by how it feels. If they have Cord here for Scavenger use, we could be in trouble, but I think we just go for the Rites Elesh Norn. We also be in trouble if they have, like, Surgical Extraction. But I'm pretty sure this is the play-to-win line. We'll make them have it. Crack this fetch here, because why not? Oh, they're going to go do their thing now, because they hit it again. Oh, no. Oh, no. Please, opponent, don't have it. Just die to my Unburial Rites. Just die to my Unburial Rites. Alright, Hallowed Fountain? Hallowed Fountain, sure. And if they had it, they would have done it there, right? So I couldn't draw Dispel. Alright, come on. No combo kill. Hey, what's up? You brought donuts.
Oh, I had to bring you a donut.
You're my favorite. Thank you. My mother-in-law brought donuts. Isn't she wonderful?
Wait, what shoes can I wear?
All right. We got there. Good stuff. Our 4-mana spell better than their 4-mana spell. This should be an interesting matchup. Opponent's playing Amulet Titan. Huh. That's kind of a good draw. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. -2, -2. Look at your hand. I'm gonna ban Obzedat, I think, here. In case we draw Goryo's Vengeance. Sweet. Solid hits all around. Taking them off their acceleration is pretty important. I have another Tribe Scout here, sure. So our goal here... Bounce land is pretty good. So if we don't draw a land here, I think we're going to Serum Visions. Yeah, I think we need to Serum Visions. Yeah. Can I afford to be a turn behind here? I think I need to Serum Visions to try and get lucky. And of course we're lucky. This is the lucky stream. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Alright, we're going to probably Gifts for Iona here. Alright, well, it's a good hit. It's a good hit. Oh no! Oh no! They have main deck Relic of Progenitus! What? That's really fucking rude. That's really rude. Lordy. Welp. 2 to 4 main deck relics. That's brutal. Why are they playing main deck relics? Their dredge matchup's reasonable, and their dredge matchup's fine, and their Death Shadow matchup is also reasonable. That's weird. I guess when I played this deck, the deck is bad. It needs free wins. Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely like a super reasonable assessment. I think I'm just gonna shock and pass. There's a non-zero chance they cycle this relic next turn, I think. Yeah, the main deck bog like destroys dredge. Like you get to the bog very consistently and you bounce the bog over and over and over again. So like I think I'm going to loot here at end step, because if I hit Goryo's Vengeance, I can make them pop this, I think. Just a Lingering Souls. Alright, that's fine.
Honey, when you get a chance, can you put the Jeep in the yard for them?
Yeah.
I guess maybe I can if CJ helps them.
Alright, put my clock on the table. Go ahead. And like, Lingering Souls plus Creeping Tarp, it does actually kill them fairly quickly here, right? I guess it's 4 in the sky. There's an amulet. Alright, don't tighten me. Oh, really? Okay, deal. Yeah, they don't want Gifts Ungiven to punch the clock and go to work against them. Bottom top on this? Yeah, I think so. Loot with this, spin the Fatal Push. Oleana the Veil. Oleana the Veil's decent pressure. We bottomed that, right? Yeah. Alright, I guess we do play 2 of them. Maybe Thoughtseize isn't very good right now. Probably true. I think Liliana the Veil's fine. Getting other land's actually not terrible too, because it means we can attack with the Creeping Tar Pit and start leaving a path up. I mean, like, the souls are going to kill them. Alright, they pop the relic. Are they playing the Emrakul version? Oh, they're just transmuting, sure. Yep. Thanks, Radicone, I appreciate it. We'll see what they go for here. You always want to let their trigger resolve before you interact with their Titan, if you plan to interact with their Titan. They're being conservative in getting these, that's good. That's good for them, it's bad for us, but, you know, details. So we're going to go ahead and return this to Laria West to their hand. And they get to transmute it. Yeah, that's fine. I have 2 paths. Now I really wish I would have kept the Thoughtseize on top of my deck. So we could Thoughtseize the Pact out of their hand. Start by looting, see what we find. It's a good draw. Now they have to pay for 2 packs next turn. The old little 2-pack action. So, opponent kind of messed up here by not leaving a bounce land in their hand. Because they left a bounce land in their hand. Oh, and they just punted again. Huh. Am I just supposed to play this Liliana and plus it now? 10 out of 10? Because they messed up there? I could just Gifts. But yeah, I think we're just supposed to punish them. I'm gonna keep the Gifts. And they clicked wrong because Magic Online. Yeah, maybe, like, there might be merit to just, like, gifting there and, like, not playing the Liliana, because, like, they probably don't beat Iona on green, especially game 1. Honestly, maybe I messed up here. I guess they only have 1 card in their hand that I'm going to get to discard it here. But, like, if they hit a Titan next turn, I could die, right? Yeah, maybe I wasn't supposed to do that. There's a very real possibility that I messed this up. I'm pretty sure I messed this up. Alright, I'm gonna flashback Fatal Push on this Azusa. I have no idea. They tightened me here, I could die. Which is definitely my fault. I 10 out of 10 could have played around getting tightened here. If I would have just, yeah, I should have. Alright, sweet. That doesn't do anything. And they're going to lose to this Iona here. Actually, the Elesh Norn just kills them, right? I'm just going to, like, put Elesh Norn into play and then they die. They could pick the Radiant Fountain back up, but, like, going to 12 and then the Spirits still kill them. Elesh Norn and Unburial Rites. Opponent concedes because they're dead to the spirits. So I like Detention Sphere, I like Obzedati's Command, I like Disdainful Stroke and Negate, I like Disenchant. What don't we like in this matchup? Fatal Push is probably fine. I mean, it feels like a lot of our cards are good here. This is the first matchup like I've sideboarded for and I've been like, huh, what are we supposed to do? Maybe I'm just supposed to trim the Goryo's Vengeances because they're a little bit awkward against their Graveyard Hate and they're probably bringing in more of it. I feel like we need Ghost Dead to actually kill them. Yeah, we probably don't need Elesh Norn. Iona is almost certainly better when we're getting the gifts package most of the time. I think we're just supposed to trim on these because they're probably like, they can Bajuka Bog us a lot, potentially. Snap makes the gifts pile better. Snap can also actually kill them. Maybe push isn't good enough. We can just, like, disrupt their actual Titan plan post-board consistently. We need souls to actually kill them. Like, we need, like, these cards attack our opponent for lethal damage. Lethal amounts of damage. Maybe this one of these Liliana of the Veils isn't good enough. Elesh is good against Hornet Queen. That's real fair. I've got D-Sphere for Hornet Queen too, though. Like, I've got, like, strokes and discard and stuff. Maybe I just trim the Lilianas and leave the Elesh in just in case to, like, contain a Hornet Queen. Like, the game could get kind of grindy. Liliana ticking up is kind of scary sometimes, but I feel like, especially since we're bringing in counter magic, she's going to be a little bit medium. Like, bringing in 4 counter spells and, like, playing a Liliana with counter spells in your deck isn't a stellar game plan. Inquisition's fine because it can take packs away in the early game, and disrupting the other stuff is good. Like, a lot of times they're going to try and set a Pact of Negation against us post-board to, like, get to unlosable board states, and yeah, it seems great. Goryo is better than Elesh, maybe. There's a Relic of Progenitus, so, like, you know, people keep asking me, like, they're like, is this deck real? Like, how do you beat the Graveyard Hate? And the answer is just, like, you board, your discard helps you beat the Graveyard Hate, your Stony Silences help you beat the Graveyard Hate, and just, like, boarding in a way to minimize the impact of the Graveyard Hate is huge. Look at that, Inquisition. Take your spell, go. It's gone. And, like, even Jace, like, when Jace gets downgraded to just, like, Merfolk Looter, like, that's fine. Like, we're interested in playing Merfolk Looter most of the time. Like 10 out of 10, willing to register Merfolk Looter in this deck list, most likely. And also, like if Jace has been downgraded to Merfolk Looter because of their Graveyard Hate, like, he's just gonna loot away your cards that, like, need the Graveyard. Do we hit a thing? It's a pretty good one. Pretty good one to find. We're just gonna Brutality that. I'm gonna pick up their Teleria West here. Their last card is Teleria West. Sure. I need the land. The extra Brutality is probably not particularly good at this point in the game. Go ahead and kill this. They only have 6 mana here, and they only have 5 mana here, so they draw a Titan, they can't play it this turn. This is just going to transmute the Teleria West into probably a Pact. Probably want to use this spine, though, so that way they have 2 with 2 counters. Yep. Yep. Maybe I shouldn't have been the other Collective Brutality. Yeah, why not try to duress the Pact? I agree. Maybe I should have tried to do that. Got a little caught up. Yeah, it's fine. It's gone. Well, trying to duress a Pact actually is kind of loose. It means that they'll just be able to Pact in response. Like I said, Jace is just more folk looter here. It's like a perfectly appropriate text box for him to have. To be resource efficient or to risk them having drawn a cavern. Yeah, I'm just gonna let this happen. I want to be resource efficient this turn, I think. They've only had exactly 1 card draw to draw Cavern of Souls. I guess they could have theoretically also drawn a Pact of Negation here. Counter target spell, draw a card. Look at that. Cast my Cryptic Command. Oh, you know what? I should probably loot with this Jace in response. Oh, no, they're helping me out. Sweet. This is actually good for us because now I get an extra loot out of the Jace. Vesuva, sure. And they return Gemstone Mine. Yep, that's fine. So I get to loot with this, and we actually got an extra loot out of this because they activated their relic. God bless them. I think I'm bending the path at this point. If I draw an Obzedat, I want to be able to cast it. It's a pretty good one. So, because they don't have mana for the relic here, I'm actually going to discard the Serum Visions, and then I'm going to spin backwards on the Serum Visions and cast it right away. This is like my one chance to get some value out of this Jace. Unburial Rites, Flooded Strand. Really not in the market for either of those cards at this point, so let's just go bottom with both. Play this tapped. We're not going to play this other Serum Visions because I want to hold up counterspells. Oh, they have to pay for their Pact. Probably could have played the other Serum Visions. I forgot about that. Sure. Probably could have played the other Serum Visions. Walking Ballista. That's annoying. Probably going to get Disdainful Stroked. I guess I could have baited with the gifts there. I left myself the option to. Honestly, just like going for a value gift there is not completely unreasonable. You're top. It's gonna pass the turn here, I think. Going to cast this Jace, so we have him in play for later. Because we can down-tick this Jace next turn and try and cast this, and then if they do this, then we can flip this other one over, potentially. Deal. Now our Gifts Ungiven is live. Yep, I think getting a Pact of Negation. Summoner's Pact, sure. They have Walking Ballista and X in their hand. I believe we know X is something else. So they can play Walking Ballista here, which they actually have a lot of mana for. Which kind of sucks for us. I don't even Obzedat on top, though, and a Gifts Ungiven here, though, so probably fine. assume they're just going to shoot this. We actually might just want to value gifts here, honestly. I guess I could cash in this Jace and cast Gifts Ungiven now. I kind of like that. Man, what am I getting here? It's like always the question, right? What are we doing? What are we doing with our lives? I could just get a bunch of removal since I have this other gifts in my hand. And like they're on Walking Ballista and they're just like top decking and I have Disdainful Stroke. So like disenchant, Path to Exile. I don't have a Fatal Push in my deck, do I? It's annoying. So Snapcaster Mage and Detention Sphere. Yeah, I think I like that. Maybe I should leave one push in for piles like this. I don't think that's unreasonable. I am down on clock too, so I need to pick up the pace a little bit just in case this game slips away from us. The problem is they could just like piss enough mana into this Walking Ballista that they could kill the Iona. So like I need to deal with the Walking Ballista before I go for the Iona plan. We're probably gonna get Snapcaster Mage D-Sphere here. I don't really want to spend these 2 mana this turn, because even if my opponent gets a little bit of value out of this Walking Ballista by, like, killing my Jace and stuff, I want to be able to Disdainful Stroke a Primeval Titan if they top deck one, or negate a Summoner's Pact if they draw one. So, like, in a position like this where we're kind of ahead, the question you always want to ask yourself is, like, what could my opponent possibly do or draw to beat us this game? And the answer to this question is, I tap out, and my opponent has an opening to resolve a Titan, and I just want to make sure that they never have that opening. So I don't really care about getting rid of the Walking Ballista right now, because like my Jace is dying regardless. So like they get to kill my Jace here, which is whatever. Ideally we draw an untapped land here. God, I'm good at Magic. Yo, drawing the untapped land is great because it lets us Detention Sphere this, and then still cast Gifts Ungiven during their end step. They're going to hit us for 2 here, I assume. So if they don't draw a Titan or a Relic that we need to counter, we get to go ahead and... don't care about that. Just Gifts 4 rates plus Iona. Name green. Plenty of colors. Birdlord, good luck at the Invitational, Jeff. Wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much, Birdlord. I appreciate the donation. Grab Iona and Unburial Rites here. So Sands a Surgical Extraction, which again, they usually don't play because their matchup against Dredge is pretty good. Opponent said GG's opponent. Alright, so we're 3-1 in this league now. Let's go ahead and play the last match, and I think we're going to call it an afternoon. We're going for about 2 hours. Like I said, my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law are here visiting, so I wanted to get on and play a couple matches Good, might as well stream it. Thanks everyone for hanging out. While waiting for this last batch to pop, I would just like to say good morning, afternoon, and good night to everyone, wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for choosing to spend part of your day here with us. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I am a TCG player and content producer. You can at my Twitch page, or maybe my YouTube page in the future. If this is your first time stopping by and you're enjoying what you see, consider using that follow button there on your screen. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps other people find my stuff. If you're really enjoying what you see and you want to help support me a little bit extra, you can do what Birdlord just did and use that donation button, or you can also subscribe on Twitch or become a patron on Patreon. You can also support my content by supporting my sponsors. You're probably going to buy some of this stuff anyways, and MTGOtraders.com is your source for Magic Online cards. You can use code HOAGLANDPayPal to save 8% on all of your orders there. InkedGaming.com does customized gaming accessories such as playmats and mouse pads and stuff like that, and use code Jeff12 to save 12% on your orders from them. MTGCardMarket.com buys and sells physical Magic cards, and they also have a great selection of written content. If you use code Jeff10% at checkout there, you will save 10% on all of your orders. And finally, SpareDeck.com offers kind of a unique service. I use them for a lot of my paper events because I don't own a lot of physical Magic cards, and they rent standard and modern decks. So you can rent a deck for a weekend or up to an entire month. I actually got a Spare deck box right here. My decks for the Invitational came in, so definitely be sure to check them out and use code HOAGLAND7 to save 7% on your order there. We've got a pairing for our last match, and we've got a kind of reasonable hand. If our opponent's playing a spell-based combo deck, this hand's not going to be fantastic, but if they're playing anything that cares about Path to Exile, which is a majority of Modern, this hand's going to be super reasonable. That's a little awkward. So, like, I kind of want this Gifts Ungiven, but at the same time I want a white source, so I think I'm going to bottom this island and be a little greedy and keep the Gifts Ungiven on top of my deck. Aether Vial, probably fish. So, deck that cares about Path to Exile, God bless. Godless Shrine, Collective Brutality. Do I want the Collective Brutality? I don't actually think I do. I think I want to just try to hit my land drop. So we're going to go bottom and then top with that. So next turn we'll be able to shock in the Godless Shrine and cast Jace, Vryn's Prodigy plus Path to Exile, which is nice. Lord of Atlantis, sure. We're going to lead on the Path to Exile before the Jace, Vryn's Prodigy, and the reason for this sequencing is my opponent has an Aether Vial on one, so if they have Curse Catcher here, they won't be able to Curse Catcher this if I do it before I play the Jace. And then Curse Catcher only counters instants and sorceries, so they're not going to be able to Curse Catcher my Jace. Or they could Curse Catcher the Path to Exile. Yeah, fishy, 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 fishy. God, I always feel like a wizard when you talk about the small percentage play, and then they're just like, yeah, that small percentage play, here it is, get rewarded. You have the Lords, opponent. Don't have the Spreading Seas for my white source, please. Dismember. That's rude. Would love another white source here. Alright, well, yeah. Second verse, same as the first. Bath this, play a Jace. Master Babes? Oh, yeah. Alright. And they have a Lord, too? Sure. They are out of cards. That's good for us. So they're going to hit us for 5 here. 6. Oh, right. This is an elemental, so it powers up that. So we're going to 10. Yep. So we get to go ahead and path. I'm going to start by looting. I think I'm going to start by looting. White source would be great. Untapped white source. Fatal Push, also excellent. So we'll discard Lingering Souls here, and we'll Fatal Push. We technically Fatal Push both of these. Yeah, that's kind of great, right? So I could Fatal Push this, and then I can flashback, Fatal Push this, and then I get to, God, we just dismantled this guy. Is this legal to show on Twitch? Am I gonna get in trouble for showing this match? I feel like we might get in trouble for having shown this match. Was this and I've noticed I've got 2 blue sources and we still don't have any islands in play. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and path this Mutavault, and by that I mean they're gonna sack their Curse Catcher, but that's fine. I'm just like, getting this thing off the table is good because it means our Gifts Ungiven gets to resolve next turn. I'm going to play this just in case they draw another Curse Catcher. Please label at SFW. Stop! Stop! He's already dead! You're killing him! You're killing him! And now they could hit a Spreading Seas here to take us off the white source so we can't flash back to Unburial Rites here. They could also have a Spell Pierce. So, big bucks, no Spell Pierce. Alright. They could. Some of these decks play Vapor Snag. Some of these decks play Vapor Snag. But if they go... apparently not this one. This one doesn't have a Vapor Snag in it. Alright, so... I actually like bringing in 2 Stony Silence in this matchup, because opponents likely boarding in Relic of Progenitus, so when you combine the fact that you can catch Relics and Aether Vials, I think 2 Stony Silence becomes very reasonable. My opponent had an Aether Vial, and they generally play Harbinger of the Tides, so I don't think Iona on blue is particularly good. What are the cuts? What are the cuts? What are the cuts? What are the cuts? Probably just the discard spells. I think we just want to be impacting the board as much as possible in this matchup. Could be talked into trimming a Collective Brutality. It's probably good enough. Maybe I just like Edge and go to Goryo's Vengeance since we're leaving all the gifts just to like not get stranded with a bunch of graveyard cards in our hand in the event that they draw their graveyard hate. Liliana seems slow, but like the way we managed everything that last game is often how the Merfolk matchups go with controlling decks like this, and like Liliana can often be like a 2-for-1 or it's a 1-for-1 that like also gains you 2 life, so I think she's plenty reasonable. She also doesn't get caught by Curse Catcher, which is great. I don't think any of these other cards in my sideboard are better than Liliana. You could maybe make an argument for Inquisition just because of like curve purposes, but like drawing Inquisition past turn 3 like feels really miserable. So I think I'm going to submit here. This hand's probably not keepable. Just doesn't do anything till turn 3. The upside to this hand is it has a blue source that's not an island. What do we think, chat fam? It's probably a mulligan. I've got like Stonies and Verdicts I wouldn't mind mulliganing too. What do you think, keep or catch and release? I think like we could have like one mana removal as well. We've got like a bunch of, even Collective Brutality is better than this hand. Yeah, this hand's much better. We just scry too. I'm gonna bottom Liliana. Yeah, I'm gonna bottom Liliana. Our 6 will be 6 spells, but eh. Oh no! Oh no, my Twitch chat plugin. Let's try and refresh. No, not usually. I've never met a Fish player that boards out Vile. I'm aware that the chat is not on the screen. It's an issue with, God, and we bottomed the Liliana. That feels a little bit bad. Because we've just been able to, like, ooh, Fatal Push is good. Do I want another land at this point? I don't think I do. 10 out of 10, keep the Fatal Push, though. I'm gonna hide the Twitch chat for now. We'll check it again in a little bit. Silvergill Adept, yep. That's one of their best cards in their deck. 10 out of 10. Play this Marsh Flats? Yeah, probably. We'll push their Lord off of a cliff next turn. Yeah, Modern's the type of format where you want as many Oops, I Win cards in your deck as possible. Like, Modern is a format that is all about punishing your opponent when they stumble, and Gifts Ungiven allows you to do that more consistently than not having the Gifts Ungiven package does. Like, Gifts Ungiven just gives us games where just like, oh, well, my opponent can't really win anymore because, like, I cast my Gifts on turn 4 after, like, killing their first play. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and cast Lingering Souls here. I know they have a Lord in their hand, but they haven't played another island yet. If they play island, they could crack us for, yep. And crack us for some amount of damage here. We could Path the Lord next turn. So you're going to hit us for 6 that's unblockable. Maybe just casting another Mirror Readry? That seems way worse than... Yeah, so this seems ideal. Just like fire this up and then crack me for 6 down to 9. Not in a great spot here. They don't have another Lord. I guess we're in an okay spot. Need to push this off, or path this. Flashback Souls. Pass the turn. We just need one with the thing, right? Yeah, really kind of said we didn't keep the Liliana. If we would have had both of these, we would have kept the Liliana, but like... Kira, sure. That's not an Island Walk card. Yeah, but like, Merfolk's not a deck that wants to go long. 10 out of 10 trading here. Just want to preserve our life total. Well, I mean... Okay. Yep. Probably just did that. I have Supreme Verdict in my deck. Supreme Verdict in my deck. Alright, let's play that out. Alright, so because Supreme Verdict is the out we need because of this Kira, I'm going to go ahead and fire up this Creeping Tar Pit and block. I'm going to chump block here so that way we can draw to Supreme Verdict. Survey says, dead. Alright. Onward, upward, backward, forward to the third game. Brutality is not an out. The first spell gets countered because of the Kira on the table. That's probably fine. It's got a bunch of removal spells in it. Curse Catcher's kind of annoying. Kira has flying. I think I'm just passing here. Fetch Shock here. Get our colors. Get that out of here. Really just want to draw a bunch of running lands here. I think I'm going to do this and discard the Lingering Souls just so I can guaranteed cast it next turn. I know that we're just getting Curse Catchered here, but I just want to be able to cast my spell next turn. So they're going to catch this, and we can't pay for it because we missed the land drop. But we get to put 1/1s into play next turn at least. Marduk's a great choice. Very powerful and proactive. Probably getting Spell Pierced. They didn't attack with this Mutavault to leave blue up. Negate, sure. Well, I mean, the good news is they're probably running out of gas. Untapped land would be wonderful. 4-drop? That's kind of like an untapped land. Similar. Good game's opponent. Alright, I guess they have 2 of the same, so I could draw land for Detention Sphere and take 2 of these idiots out. Unless they have another Lord. Yep. Then we're actually just dead here. All right, I'm gonna be really, really clear because I'm gonna say this. This is a great way to close the stream out on. And I guess you can't see that. So for those that are unaware, the Twitch chat is hidden. Is it back now? Nope, still bad gateway. Rare Pelican asks, do you think this version is trying to be too cute with the gifts package when you could be focusing more on finding Goryo's Vengeance and punishing that strategy through? If I thought the gifts package wasn't worth playing, I wouldn't be playing it, just to be like the TLDR version. And 2, the Goryo's package doesn't guaranteed win games of Magic, especially in a format where Modern, where like you're putting like this 5/5 with haste into play that like drained them for 2, and it's like, yeah, that's cute, and some of the time that's good enough, but like people are just like untapping and making infinite mana and killing you the following turn. So like Elesh, Norn, and Iona lock people out of the game. They win you free games that you wouldn't otherwise be winning without this really big, powerful effect in your deck. And on top of giving you access to these free game wins, like Gifts Ungiven does with this Unburial Rites Elesh Run package, Gifts Ungiven is also a value engine that's good when you don't have access to your graveyard. Like, a deck like this in Modern has to play very smart when you're playing with it, because people have lots of graveyard hate because Dredge is a deck. You gotta play around Grafdigger's Cages and Relics and Spellbombs and Surgical Extractions. And Gifts Ungiven is a relevant Magic card that still has a text box when your opponent has those things going on, as opposed to Goryo's Vengeance, just like, is this 2 mana do nothing, I can loot it away to my Jace, for instance, Prodigy, or discard it to a Collective Brutality, but it just doesn't do anything in general when I can't access my graveyard, whereas Gifts Ungiven still does. Elesh Norn, also, it's not unreasonable to just like cast a 7 mana Elesh Norn. We almost did that at one point today. We got a thought seized away from us, but like we hit 7 land drops on more than one occasion. So at any rate, I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the day. We finished 3-2 in the league. Another good, consistent finish here. I like this deck a lot. I'm 10 out of 10 playing this deck at the Invitational this weekend in the Modern portion. We've got something sweet brewed up for the Standard portion as well. Remember, if you missed any of today's stream, I'm going to get it uploading to my YouTube channel right now. And if this is your first time seeing this deck in action, I've got 4 or 5 video sets up there of playing through entire leagues now at this point with various iterations of this deck. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on again tomorrow before my flight leaves, but if not, if you're going to be at the Invitational this weekend, feel free to come up and say hello, especially if you're one of the very generous people that helped get me there. And also, if you're not going to be at the Invitational, make sure you check it out. Hopefully you will see me on coverage tearing it up. Peace, folks, and I'll catch you around later.